Have you ever found yourself stuck trying to figure out how to create a QueryDSL predicate from a raw SQL string? It can be quite the puzzle, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into how to tackle this issue head-on. I totally get it. Working with a complex Java, GraphQL, Hibernate, and PostgreSQL setup can feel overwhelming, especially when you're dealing with a massive table that has over 275 columns. You're definitely not alone in this struggle. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, is it possible to create a QueryDSL predicate with a string of raw SQL? They explained that they have a GraphQL schema with 25 popular columns and want to add a generic field input type. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's the challenge here? The user wants to convert a field input like age GT into a predicate that can be added to a Boolean builder. This is tricky because they need to create a predicate from a raw SQL string, which isn't straightforward in QueryDSL. And stick around. I have a valuable tip at the end that will help you streamline your QueryDSL usage and make your life a lot easier. To create a QueryDSL predicate from a raw SQL string, the user can utilize the JPA expressions. First, they need to create a method that converts the raw SQL string into a predicate. Next, the user should ensure that the SQL string is properly formatted. This means it should follow the syntax that QueryDSL expects for predicates. After formatting the SQL string, the user can then integrate this predicate into their existing Boolean builder. This allows them to combine it with other predicates seamlessly. Finally, the user should test the implementation to ensure that the predicate behaves as expected within the GraphQL query. This can be done by running sample queries. Fun fact, did you know that SQL stands for Structured Query Language? It's the backbone of database management, and understanding it can really empower your coding skills. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One alternative approach is to use Hibernate's ability to inject arbitrary SQL through custom functions or the function. In QueryDSL, you can inject JPQL or HQL using template expressions. For example, you can create a number template for a sum operation. However, since age 50 is valid JPQL, you can also write it directly as a number template. It's important to note that creating a visitor to traverse the GraphQL query and generate the correct expression in QueryDSL is advisable, as template expressions can be vulnerable to SQL injection. Here's the tip I promised. Always validate your SQL strings before using them in your queries. This can save you from potential errors and security issues down the line. And there you have it. You now have a clearer path to creating QueryDSL predicates from raw SQL strings. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips, and don't miss our next video where we tackle more advanced QueryDSL techniques.